What's going on? What is up? I'm sitting here getting my stuff set back up to do a little recording. I gotta get back in the groove of doing some film music and working on this new record. Man, I don't know where it's gonna go. I know what I want to do. And what I want to do and what's gonna happen are two different things. So I guess with anything in life, to be honest. That's what I think. Indeed. Anyway, I'm gonna get this stuff set up. I've got my RV listed on RV Trader, man. It is for sale. And got all that set and ready to roll. I'm gonna post it a few other places. I think today it's about 15 of them nationwide for sale. So I don't know. That's no indication that it wouldn't sell or there's any problems, because this is a hot time to sell RVs, and these RVs, well, everybody's buying them now because they're going to be traveling in the summer, and all the snowbirds coming down, going to Florida from Canada. That's why these new RV dealers sell the hell out of these RVs. The RV industry has just become a hell of a market, man. But I don't know. It's just technology, and it changes the way people want to live. It's so cool. Technology allows us to live any way we want, and I love it. I love the fact of being able to build my own RV home and build it in a van like a ProMaster. That's so freaking cool too. That's going to be awesome. And don't get me wrong, like I've said before, I love this RV, but there are just things I want out of an RV. Instead of buying another RV, I can build one, and anything goes wrong, I can fix it because I built it. And I believe they'll hold up better, just because I've seen these RVs, and it's not a negative thing about RVs. It's just petty things that go wrong. Like, for instance, I've got to probably replace the bulb outside the door here as a strip of LEDs. Half of them were on and off last night. And I don't know if it's because it was cold. LEDs react to cold temps weirdly, so that may be what it is for all I know. But I got to monitor that. That's just one thing. But when I build my RV, it'll be, I think, less problems, because I built it and I know where I bought the stuff and I can fix it. The only difference is taking that thing to be serviced mechanically at Chrysler. And yeah, we'll let them handle that. I'm not a mechanic. Not that I couldn't do it, but I just am not doing it. I'm not what they call a grease monkey. I ain't doing it. Some things I don't trust myself with. I really don't. Let's get this bitch fired up here. We got it. But anyway, I wanted to jump on here real quick and gab a little bit about a little added note of something. Just as things come to mind, things each day. I think it'd be kind of cool to do, man. Almost like a diary of my life, or just following me. People do it all the time on YouTube. Well, who knows? Maybe I have my own twist about doing it. But we're going to do it one way or the other here. I joined a group today. It was based on a book. I read the book, and I'm Facebook friends with him. And that group is called 52 Qs a Year, or 52 Qs, or something like that. And it was inspired by the book Dan Graham wrote about composing music and music licensing. It was a really good book. And basically he said, well, recommends do 52 Qs a year. Well, minimum, that's probably correct. I mean, I ain't gonna say probably, it's correct. You should minimum at least do 52 a year if you're not doing it full time. And granted, not everybody's doing it full time. I do it full time, but I also, keep me from going crazy, I do other things too. You know, when I'm not traveling, I'm doing other things when I'm home. And that's cool. I don't mind, with that at all. It's, I'm not one of these guys who make all my living doing YouTube videos. I do it with music and other things. So big difference there. Huge difference. So we'll be it that it may. Oh shit, I gotta get that up. It's just, we're all different. So, but I think it's important to do at least 52 Qs a year when you do it. But I put out a video earlier about don't waste your music, and a part of this is really don't waste your music. Get it off your hard drive. Let that be one of those, at least minimum of 52 cues a year. That's 1 cue a week. 52 weeks a year, my friends. But I do one a day at least one a day, and it depends on the projects I'm working on. I had to hump it in December to finish my year out, and I was doing 2 a day for a while, and that was some work. It was more work, more drain and more work on your brain and on not physically, just your attention span, and just kind of it fatigues your brain a little bit. It's almost like ear fatigue, if that makes sense. And so, they always say when you're mixing a bunch of music, walk away from for a while and come back to it. Let your ears rest. Don't ever master a track. Like if you're doing a serious project, like I master mine after I get done with the cue, because I kind of mix as I go on. The cue's a minute and a half, and it's the way I write it. It's not a long drawn out mix process as if I'm mixing down a record and trying to do a full all out 10 to 15 song project where you've been mixing it and working on it. You really need to take a break and then come back and master it in a week or two. Put a good fresh set of ears on it. It's kind of like that with writing music. Sometimes you got to take a break, but get that music out there, do the work. If you have time to do more than 1 cue a week, do it. Let's do the math here. I do a cue a day. If I did one every day, that's 365 cues in a year. But what dictates that is I get in certain projects that I got to do so many at a time. It might be a cue a day, and then I have some off days. And granted, I'm not doing music every day. I take a day or so off. You got to do that. It averages out that some projects I'm doing a couple of cues a day to get that project, that deadline done within a week or so. And sometimes I get a day or two for a deadline. If brief comes in, it's like, okay, it's due by this Thursday by 7 o'clock at night or some jazz like that, West Coast time, which is 10 o'clock East Coast time, that kind of thing. Let's just say you did 3 cues a week, 12 cues a month. That's 120 cues a year. Simple math, folks, but that 120 is getting you there. I did 200 this year, if that should tell you anything. Plus, there was some collaboration on top of that. I collaborated about 30 tracks. I probably already mentioned this. So it's achievable. But it's all on how, where you're at with this. Once you get into a groove and you get good at doing it, you set your templates up and you're really good at hammering them out. And you could I could probably get a good cue out in a couple hours, to be honest. If, it depends on what I'm doing. And probably do 2 a day, but there are some cues I'm working on. It takes 4, 5, 6 hours. And sometimes I'm working on music. It's longer than that in a day. 1 track in a day. And it really just depends on what I'm doing, man. If I'm doing a lot of guitar work and stuff and certain things, that cue could take me a day or 2 to get done. It just depends on how in-depth it is. I do a lot of tension cues. I've gotten to a point where I have all my tools laid out in place. Everything is there. I can pull from. Generally, by instinct, I know starting the track and where I want to go to get a good basis. You get one good idea and you work around that idea and build upon it. You can get on a groove and really get a good momentum going, But like I say, you get that momentum going, don't get burned out, Be careful what you're doing. If you start to get burned or something, change genres of music. Like I always say, go take a break and take a few days, go learn a new piece of software, a plug-in, learn your DAW more. Maybe find other people to write with. That's lately, I'm realizing that collaborating with people has given me ideas. They bring you the inspiration, and it's a breath of fresh air. It's something coming to you that maybe you haven't done before. They want you to put what you do over the top of it. I get a lot of guys that come to me, can you put some tension stuff on top of this or rock on top of it? So, and that's cool. I like it. It takes a little while to get used to it. As I said, it was very hard for me to open up and let people in to compose. That ain't, easy if you've been doing it all by yourself for so many years. My instrumental albums I do would be even harder than I do because of being a guitarist, to bring someone else in with me to help produce it. But I think one day I want to do that because I want them to be somebody that drives me to do things and kind of make me think more outside the box inspirationally on things that I would normally do, and maybe say, hey, try this. Let's add this part. I hear this. And that second set of ears can really do it. That in turn becomes a writing partner. I mean, it is what it is. It just depends on what you want to do, but that can make the best records. I mean, you look at some of these producers out there who produce some of the biggest albums of all time. They didn't just sit there and turn knobs and go, okay, that's cool, and record it. They put in a musical effort. They help these guys structure their tracks, their music, their songs in a way they wouldn't have thought about when they were writing it. It's that second set of ears that comes in and goes, okay, let's take this song and do this with it. And either they turn it into a whole different track or they bring it to life, man. It's just amazing what some of these guys can do. They're true talents. But, you know, just if you can't get a cue a day, man, try to put in, you know, enough time in the week to do a few. Even if you got the weekend to do it. A lot of people make excuses. Well, I can only do one a week because I work doing this for so many hours and I do all this. Unless you've got a bunch of other stuff going on, you can make time for it. And it boils down to this. You can make excuses or you can make time. Make time to do it. My grandfather used to tell me, and he told me this all the time. He'd say, Chris, you got more time than you've got money. Use your time wisely. And I lived by that when I ran my retail business and most of the things that I do. I did things that a lot of people weren't doing. May took a little more time or traveling to do it, but it saved me a lot of money in the long run. It's the small things, man. It's the small things. So evaluate your time. And look at all the time you're sitting, whether you're watching TV or playing video games or doing something. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but could I be spending that time doing something to get me where I want to be in life? That's what it's all about. I think they call that sacrifice, but I don't know. Whatever you want to call it, you're still making time to get it done, and that's what it's going to take. Anyway, I'm out. Just wanted to get on babble again about things, and I will keep you updated on things going on with the new album and my new RV. If I get this thing sold, I can get on with getting the van and getting everything built. I'm planning, getting everything in the motion. Just got to get it done. I'm out. Be cool.